Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Right, so this is the fourth round draw of the 20th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard game. And for this round, there is only three of you left in it, which obviously means that it's coming towards the business end of the game now. It's just Costradamus, Damien Handel for 20, and Mason 0 or Mason O who remain in this game at this late stage. Now, obviously, because of there's so few of you left, there's a number of possibilities that are more likely to happen here. Obviously, if all three of you, or at least two of you, get winning fighters, then we carry on for a fifth round with those that survived. Obviously, if only one of you has a winning fighter, then they're the winner. But of course, this is a possibility we can't rule out knowing what the wheel's like. The wheel could eliminate all three of you, and the wheel will be declared the winner. So there is a better than average chance that this is going to be the last round. But we shall see. For this round, UFC Fight Night, Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. Originally, it was obviously going to be Robert Whittaker versus Hamza Chimaev, but Chimaev has had to pull out due to injury. Speedy recovery there for the smashing machine and all the rest of it, but it has given us a much more I don't know, I say interesting fight. In all honesty, I would have rather seen Whittaker versus Chimaev, who wouldn't have, but this is still a very interesting replacement because this is a fight that Robert Whittaker should win, given his experience, particularly experience against fighting the higher level of the opposition of the middleweight division. But at the same time, this Ikram Aliskerov is a very good-looking prospect. He's a very dangerous prospect. They're 15-1, and so yeah, certainly going on a hell of a streak. And bear that in mind with the fact that he's also let's see, layman in replacement. Nobody. If you'd have asked them about a week before the fight, which is picks him to beat Robert Whittaker, I don't think many people would have. So I suppose in a way he's kind of got nothing to lose really, because a loss against Robert Whittaker, there's no shame in that under any circumstance. Even if you have a full camp and you lose to Robert Whittaker, there's no shame in that because he's one of the best in the middleweight division. But with especially coming on like a week's notice, yeah, he's got nothing to lose, and we've seen bigger upsets in the past. If this sport teaches you anything, it's you don't want to fuck with somebody that's got nothing to lose. So that might work in Aliskerov's favour. Having said that, I do still fancy Whittaker to win that, so I've got him to win by decision. Um. Anyway, that's not what you're here listening. That's not what you're here for, either, is it? You don't want to hear me ramble on about fights, and luckily you won't have to very long, as there's only three of you left. Should, in theory, be a shorter video. But you never know what I'm like. It's first up. Let's just get on with it for a ramble on about how much I ramble on. First up is Costradamus. Let's see who the wheel selects for Costradamus. Of course, the wheel has to be an absolute cunt and give me this absolute name to pronounce. Magomed Gatsiwaisyassulov. I've butchered that. I apologize. I only have to pronounce potentially three different fighters' names, and the wheel has to give me that one. I think I've got the Magomed part down. You guys may as well go put the kettle on while I'm typing this out. Geez, Zhiy a Sulov. Bloody hell. Looks like a name off a countdown. Jesus. Anyway, no idea how you pronounce that, but and even worse than that, I've not picked him to win that fight either against Brenton Ribeiro Which, to be fair though, he is the favourite to win that one. Um, is I've sided with Brenton Ribeiro because he's in my opinion, he's got better experience. Yes, it's a slightly worse record, 15-6 compared to 8-0, but I feel like having looked over Magomed's, I'm just going to leave it at that, Magomed's record, I'd say that some of the fighters he's fought have had some questionable records. So, and with Brenton Ribeiro, he's fought some decent guys. It's plus 260 favorite, underdog rather, to for that fight, but I fancy him. But Costradamus has got the bookies' favourite anyway. Undefeated bookies' favourite, which that always sounds good on paper, doesn't it? So certainly in with a chance. Damien Handel 420 next to take on the wheel. He gets one of the main eventers, Ikram Aliskerov. Ikram Liskarov. Yeah, it kind of feels like the wheel's not picked many of the main event fighters lately. Might be true to that, might not be, but anyway, as I was saying in my introduction there, he is the underdog, and I don't expect him to win, but he's got nothing to lose. He's I say he's got most casual fans don't know his name. Uh, which if he beats Whitaker, they certainly will afterwards. Like I say, it's 15-1 on a good streak, and this is kind of a win-win situation for him, really. Yeah, absolutely catapults him up the division if he will win or lose. I'd say he just needs to put in a good performance to still go up the rankings. I would say. I don't think he is even ranked. I don't at the moment. I think he might be, but I'm not sure. I don't pay any attention to the official UFC rankings, to be honest. But he's certainly got more than a punter's chance given the circumstances of him being a late replacement. Anyway, last one to go, Mason O or Mason Zero. I suppose better ask him which one he prefers, really. But anyway, let's see who the wheel assigns to him for tomorrow night. He gets Long Zhao. I think I pronounced that one right. Long Zhao. XIAO. Now, this is an interesting one because this is one of the go from being the main event right down to one of the prelim ones, so the opener. Because this is the bantamweight tournament. It's the Road to UFC tournament. And both of these fighters have had obviously the last few fights in the Road to UFC competition, and um, I'll admit I haven't seen every single episode of it. I've missed a few, but from what I have seen, Long Xiao has been the better looking one. He's certainly got the better record, 26 wins, 8 losses compared to 9 wins, 1 loss. I suppose it's arguable there's a better record, but it's certainly more experience anyway. And from what I've seen him, I just like the way he's controlled the fights. Really, he's had quite a few decision wins, but every single one of those has been a case of you could tell he was going to win the decision pretty early on in the fight. That's the sort of level of control he's had on them. Obviously, a few tricky moments here and there, but it's that's fighting, isn't it? But anyway, I reckon he's actually a fairly safe bet to win that one. So I think that's quite a good pick, actually. So we got just that concludes the draw, and just going back to run over the fighters one more time. We have Kostradamus with Magomed Gadshi Yasulov. It's probably not as bad now that I'm breaking it down like that. He's a sort of a 50-50 shot, in my opinion, but bookie's favourite and all that. Damien Handel with the as underdog for the main event, Ikram Aliskerov, who I reckon's got a good chance as an underdog. Well, not a good chance, but I mean, you can't rule him out, that's for sure. And Long Xiao, who's a fairly comfortable favourite. So a bit of a mixed bag there. But anyway, that concludes the fourth round draw. All it leaves me to say is good luck for you three. Good luck with your picks for everybody else watching. Especially if you have any bets on this card, good luck with those bets. And maybe next time we see you, it might be the 21st edition, or maybe it'll be the fifth round. We don't know, but well, it'll be the fifth round if two or more of you get through. But if there's only one left, which I prefer, if it's going to end here, I prefer it actually be an actual person to win it rather than the wheel. So, but yeah, let's just hope at the very worst, all three of you don't just get wiped out. We don't want to see that again. The wheel doesn't need a third one in a row. Anyway, regardless of how we meet again, so long for now. What have I clicked here? Yeah, not that button. Stop recording. Here we go.